Hello, everyone. This is Diana, the president and founder of PACE UNICEF, and today I'm thrilled to welcome our beloved and honored guest, Daisy Cardenas, a UNICEF United States representative, to our podcast, What is UNICEF? We are so excited to have you with us, Ms. Cardenas, and can't wait to dive into the inspiring conversation about UNICEF's mission and impact.
Hi, Diana. Thanks for having me. So excited to talk to you guys and dive deep into UNICEF. So I'm Daisy. I'm the Community Engagement Associate for UNICEF USA, supporting youth engagement and club programs across the Northeast. So I'm really excited to connect with Pace University and your club as well to talk about UNICEF's mission and young people like you really becoming change makers in our field.
Thank you. So I would like to start with a basic question.
Yeah.
What does UNICEF stand for?
Great question. UNICEF, it is an acronym. So it stands for the United Nations Children's Fund, and it originally started as the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, long-winded. But afterwards, the name didn't stick. It was, and so now we're simply known as UNICEF or United Nations Children's. So yeah, that's what UNICEF stands for.
Oh, wonderful. And what is the main mission of UNICEF?
Yeah. So our UNICEF's mission is to make every child, no matter who they are, where they come from, to make sure that they survive, learn, and grow up healthy and safe. So really, one of our sayings here, at least at UNICEF USA, we
Mhm.
want to ensure that every child survives, but also thrives, right? So thriving, and that means making sure that they have equal opportunity to reach their full potential throughout their development and really the course of their life.
And can you please tell us what is the main mission in the world today of UNICEF? Did the SDGs expand, or you're still aiming at the two main SDGs?
Well, we're definitely hitting on a lot of SDGs, like our programmatic work globally. It hits a lot of them. And so really what we follow is called the CRC, which is that we use a lot of acronyms on this side, but the CRC is the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and that's our guiding framework that lays out what child rights are. So we really follow that. And so we work in over 190 countries and territories, supporting children and families through programs that do hit the SDGs, but also really correlate with the articles on the Convention of the Rights of the Child. So that's health, education, protection, and emergency relief as well, especially in those areas that are like farthest to reach and hardest to reach,
Yeah.
and the children that are at risk as well and in conflict.
Mm-hmm. Genuinely, I'm very happy and glad that UNICEF had expanded internationally because I'm personally an international student from Kazakhstan, which is pretty far away from United States. But we still have an office of UNICEF in our country, and honestly, I'm very happy seeing UNICEF at my own country and seeing that all the work is done there, that the awareness around child welfare is raised in there. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean that's like one of the things that we really aim for is to make sure that, when we respond to whatever it is, whether it's conflict, whether it's emergency, on the ground, we are there throughout the course from like when it happens and then after, making sure that, the programs that we're doing are sustainable and like they could keep going, right? So we're still on the ground after everything happens, and making sure that, schools are being rebuilt, homes are being rebuilt, whatever the community needs. So, and that's why a lot of people, recognize our name because we really support and making sure that, uh, all the needs are met in the communities as well.
I would like to ask you a little bit about the UNICEF's history.
Yeah.
So, when and why was UNICEF created, and how has its purpose changed over time?
That's a great question. I love this question because we definitely have um, really developed over time, but UNICEF was first created in 1946 in response to World War II. So
Hmm.
when millions of children were left without food, shelter, and health care, we were there to provide. We started off providing just biscuits and milk. So if you look at our logo back in the day,
Hmm.
that's what we were. You see the logo, and it's an adult handing a child
Yeah,
a milk,
yeah,
right?
I've
So
seen
that's
it.
what you,
Yeah.
yeah. So we definitely have developed over time and now expanded to not just giving food, but shelter and healthcare. So at
Mhm.
first it was a temporary relief agency, but over time it evolved into a permanent organization and being adopted under the United Nations,
Mhm.
that is now dedicated to protecting every child's right. And like I mentioned, not just in emergencies, but like every day, right?
Mhm. Oh, that's wonderful finding more about the history of UNICEF because I know that just not everyone is familiar with the history of UNICEF. Mainly,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone knows mainly UNICEF just like for the present missions and the present goals that you achieved. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And it's super, yeah, dive deep into the history because there is definitely a lot of history. We have a lot of
Mhm.
just prominent ambassadors that have like spoken out on UNICEF and just, you know, maybe someone that you've heard about, a celebrity, whatever it is. So yeah, dive deep into it. I encourage you to do so.
Oh, how does UNICEF help children in crisis situations such as war or natural disasters?
Yeah, so UNICEF is often the first organization to respond. And so when crisis hits, we are the first ones on the ground. We are extremely just blessed that we have the position with the governments usually that we have like very close relationships and partners with them. But um, we have a supply warehouse. Sorry, I lost my words for a second. Supply warehouse in, I believe it's in Geneva, if I'm correct. I would have to double check on that.
Mhm.
But we are often the first ones to respond to crisis, the first ones within 72 hours. So, first
Wow.
ones on the ground, providing essentials like safe water, drinking water, shelter, medical supplies, but also focusing on helping children recover emotionally and get back to school as quickly as possible. So when conflict hits, when crisis hits, we have mental health therapists there, working with
Wow.
children, teachers, um, whatever the goal is, but just to make sure that they are, you know, back to their routine,
Yeah.
really. And the goal is not just to survive, like I mentioned, but it's also allowing children to heal and be stable, you know, be in a situation that's stable for them.
Hmm. It's wonderful that UNICEF has different sub groups and subcategories and the ways of how they can help children that UNICEF thinks about the mental health awareness, the physical health, the emotional, and just comes up to the solution and helping children from all of the aspects and all of the degrees. That's that's amazing. I genuinely just I'm really impressed and amazed and even honored to establish at Pace University UNICEF Club because I still think that mm, every single institution should help child welfare.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
must.
yeah, I mean, we say it all the time and we say like the children and like the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but we have to think about the present, right? Like making sure that, you know, the needs that they have presently are also achieved. So that's why it's important for everyone to at least have that awareness
Yeah,
of what others are doing and what they could do to help as well.
thank you. And I also would love to hear something from you, like any tips or ways of how students at Pace can raise awareness around child welfare, be more active around UNICEF, and again, remind them why it's important to always support UNICEF's mission and align with UNICEF's goals and targets.
Yeah, well, I think that the one thing that I could say that I see across the board with our clubs is just that youth empowerment, right? So whether it's UNICEF's mission or whatever other issue that you're passionate about as a young person, I think it's essential to make sure that, you speak out about it and you also build that awareness, right? Because if you have a passion for it could be mental health, it could be, just food security, whatever it is that you have a passion for. I think it's standing your ground on it and making sure that you um, share whatever education and awareness you have with your colleagues. It could be that one of your closest friends doesn't know about it and they want to do something about it. But it's also creating creative solutions. So oftentimes we have adults, of course, in the table talking about policy and law that could be passed, but a lot of the times we don't take into consideration youth voices, right? So we want to provide not just a seat at a table, but a voice in what these decisions, right? Because um, oftentimes it's the adults coming up with a solution and they think about it in such a way, in
Mhm.
such a one-dimensional way. And if you see how a youth or a child thinks about it, they think about innovative and creative solutions
Yeah.
that sometimes are out of the
Mhm.
box, right?
Mhm.
So I think that that's one thing that we aim to support at UNICEF USA and through our clubs program is just like that youth empowerment.
Well, we are coming up to the end. Miss Cardenas, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing your inspiring insights about UNICEF's mission and impact, introducing PACE students to UNICEF. And it's been an honor having you with us and to all our listeners. So thank you for tuning into our podcast.
Yeah, thank you all for listening and thank you for really the work that you do, just as leaders and just change makers of today. So whether it's through the UNICEF Club, through your own volunteering or like spreading awareness, just making sure that every action is to create a better world for children everywhere and just being part of this movement, right? And I'm just here to support you guys. And so making sure you guys stay engaged and keep using your voice because it truly makes a difference.